welcome back to another episode of the Then Wait podcast. I think it's going to be a good show today. I got somebody on here named Chancellor. We're going to chop it up today, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. So, Chancellor, man, how you doing today?
Hey, man, Lucas, bless and balance to you, man. Appreciate you for having me. Big shout out to everyone that's tuning in to the episode. Y'all the real MVP.
For sure, man. So, you from Georgia, right? Where you at in Georgia?
Atlanta, Smyrna to be specifically, but Metro Atlanta area.
How's it living out there? I'm from Maryland. I live in Tennessee now, so
Okay.
I'm from Maryland. So like it was a little adjustment for me when I moved out here. So like.
Yeah, Atlanta's the mecca for Black entrepreneurship. Nickname is Black Hollywood out here, so it's the place to be if you are an entrepreneur or somebody that got some type of charisma or talent. This is the place to be. It's constantly growing. Yeah, it's always something going on out here. Opportunity are endless.
Yeah, for sure. I used to be out in Marietta a little bit. I had a buddy I went to school with, and he moved out here, him and his brother. So I used to
Yeah,
go out there in Marietta a little bit, and we
man,
was
Marietta, man, that's next door for real, for real. So yeah, in my neck of the woods.
For sure. Like I said, I like the South, man. I don't never see myself move back up north, man. Once I got out here, I was like, man, this is where it's at.
Cold, I can't. I got that. You said Maryland too? No, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'm outside of Baltimore, and I enjoyed it. It's cool, and every once in a while I go back home and
Yeah.
chop it up with people I went to school with. But what was it like growing up in Atlanta area?
I had a great childhood, honestly. I grew up in a pretty big community. It was red way back in the day. So for those that don't know what red line mean, this was a section of Smyrna where colored people were allowed to live. So it's the neighborhood I grew up in, Rose Garden. It's been around since like the 50s, probably even before then. And it's still standing to this day. Of course, gentrification is happening now, but it was lit. Like we had a whole playground in the middle of the neighborhood with multiple fields, basketball courts, tennis courts, sand volleyball pit. So it's like, man, being outside at the park. Oh yeah, come on, man. We played football hours on hours, basketball hours on hours. We just out there just kicking it, hanging out. So childhood was lit. We weren't the only kids. There was plenty of kids in the neighborhood. So it
Yeah.
was a gold moment. And then we started playing football in middle school, and that helped. That's shaped a lot of our identity as well because we always had a passion for football, but we didn't get the opportunity to actually play organized football just because our mama wasn't able to afford it.
Yeah.
Especially Little League. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
man, it's not cheap. And she got two sons, too. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we was able to play in middle school and played all throughout high school. Got the opportunity to play in college. So I went down to Stetson University in Florida, played there
Okay.
off. After I graduated from Stetson, I landed my first job teaching English to kids in China. So I lived in China for a little bit. Got locked up in China. Once I was released from Beijing jail number 6, I was deported from the country, came back to America, and pretty much just back to square one, trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. Fell into writing, continued in working in education, fell into coaching football, and we doing a lot of different things now.
That's what's up, man. I look forward to talking about a lot of those things in this conversations. But yeah, like let's talk about this being locked up in Beijing, man. Like I found that interesting to see where your life is going. But let's talk about like how was that experience, man?
Yeah. Prior to getting locked up, China was the best experience I've ever had in my entire life.
How long were you out there before you got locked up?
I was out there for 6 months total. I was
Okay.
supposed to do it. That's how long my contract was set, but things just went left halfway through. But it was lit though. Prior to getting locked up, best experience ever. I enjoyed working with the kids. I was teaching kids as young as 3 years old, all the way up to like 12, but mainly working with the elementary school range. So that was a vibe. The food, authentic Chinese food, like no other. That was magnificent. Just in Beijing. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, bro. I'm on the other side of the world. I'm in a different world. Thing we do is going to be an adventure from the smallest thing. So just exploring China was a blast. Meeting other foreigners, also fun as well. Because you meet interesting walks of life, and it's like, man, we could have met anywhere in the world, but here we are in this communist country. Like,
Sure.
it's like we tried because everybody here jumped off the porch. Anybody got family and stuff out here. Like, you know what I'm saying? We all we
Mm-hmm.
got. So we really became tribe. So yeah, everything was harmonious. And then on April 4th, 2019, things go left. It's a day off for me. I'm finna get ready to head to an event um, that my company was hosting. It's a team builder event, so it's all fun and games and stuff. But I pre-gamed before I was, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying, before I headed out. So I'm in
Yeah.
the apartment by myself. I'm drinking a little Chinese wine cooler, smoking a little cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, finish up, make sure I get dressed, make sure I got everything I need before I walk out the door, and I hear a knock. And guests aren't unfamiliar. I'm just curious to see who it is. I looked through the peephole, and there stood 3 officers from the Beijing police.
Mm.
Got spooked.
Yeah.
Open the door, they enter, question me about drugs. Of course, I'm playing the fool like I don't know what they talking about. They
Mm-hmm.
drug test me right down on the spot, and it was a wrap after that. It was a wrap after that. Threw the cuffs on me, bounced around from precinct to precinct before I was actually taken to the jail where I was housed.
Okay. And I know, I mean, I ain't never been arrested here in America and anything like that, but like I know that's kind of gotta be a scary like situation to be in, man. Like,
Yeah, it
how you not
was
in your country or nothing like that, man, and just what was going through your head?
initially like once they was at the apartment still, I was just hanging on to the hope that they don't find the rest of the cannabis I have left. I got a little bit left over,
Mm.
so trying to divert the situation to where we could just leave the apartment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm. That's my mind set on. But that's the most fearful I was, just scared of being caught. But
Mm.
once I was caught red-handed, I was like, well, it is what it is at this point. I just got to take this to the chin.
Mm.
So now it's like, well, I can't really talk. I can't really talk to these dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Up until this point, we just been communicating through translator apps.
Mm.
Um, so once they threw the cuffs on me, majority of the officers, it was about 8, 9, 10 officers in the apartment. And it's like, as soon as the cuffs on me, all of them left. Like I don't know where
Mm.
they went. I'm just left with like 2 of them. I'm like, where everybody go? But and the 2 I'm with, they don't speak English whatsoever, so it's no more communication.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen, how this thing gonna play out. But I remember saying to myself to take note of every minor detail because it's gonna be a great story to tell once you're out of this predicament.
for sure.
Most important, enjoy this high one last time because we don't know what's gonna happen to us, boy. Okay.
Mhm. That's what's up. So that experience led you to write a book. Let me see what's called. 14 Days in Beijing. Is that what it's
Yes.
called?
It's
Like, talk about that. Like, is this the first book that you wrote, or you
yeah.
have you wrote other things, poems, and or you just strictly
Yeah. So
on?
yeah, my background in writing
Mm-hmm.
is very, very small, you could say. I never I don't even remember having to do a whole lot of writing in high school. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't college. That's when I had it was a rude awakening then. High school ain't preparing me for all the essays and stuff I was gonna have to write in college. So I get to college and oh yeah, I gotta pay for this class, I gotta pay for this class, I gotta pay for this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, man, hold on. Man, I lived in the writing center. So writing was never a strong suit of mine, it was never something I enjoyed doing. It was just something it was a requirement. And I lived in that writing center for every essay I had. So when it came to the book, I knew I wanted to do something with the story. Cause I'm like, I ain't
Mm-hmm.
go through a reason like, bro, I got it. I
Yeah,
feel like I'm supposed to do something to share the story in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know how. And it wasn't until I was hanging out with one of my good friends that I grew up with. He was a traditionally published author before we graduated high school in 2014. So he was the one who
okay.
was like, "Hey, you ain't think about writing a book about the experience?" I'm like, "Boy, that's a good idea. I don't even know where to start, but that's a good idea." He took it further. He took my phone, went to my notes section, left me a little outline, and I
Okay.
started the outline. And from there, I was like, "Okay." I got a vibe for how I wanted to write the rest of the story, so I moved it to a Google Doc so I could type it up. Took about 4 months to finish writing the story, and then just spent the next 6 months just getting it ready for publishing. So that was my very first book, 14 Days in Beijing. I've written and published 3 other books since then. Well, yeah, written and published 3 other books, but I've published 2 books that I didn't write, in addition to those as well. Um, so yeah, I got a few books up underneath my belt now.
That's what's up. So he gave you your homeboy gave you a structure of how
Exactly.
to do things, and you was able to follow. That's what's up, man. You always that community, man. I always speak about community. we need that community and not being by ourselves. A lot of people like say they want to thrive off of being alone and things like that, but I don't agree with that. Like
Yeah.
we need our people. We
No
need people
facts.
in our corner. So that's what's up. That your buddy gave you a structure of how to do things. And so you said you got 2 books that you didn't write that's published. So you're a
Yeah.
publisher.
Yeah, yeah. So after I want to say, yeah, so the very next year after I published 14 Days in Beijing, the original version, I started my publishing company, Korleh Publications LLC, and
Mm-hmm.
pretty much publishing my books under that. And just with the success 14 Days had, I got a lot of traction, a lot of questions,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of inquiries about writing and publishing. I only had 2 people, and the countless amount of people I've worked with, I only had 2 people who actually saw the process all the way through, and not
Mm-hmm.
only able to publish their books, both of their books were #1 as well. The first author is Anthony McKinney.
Okay.
30-year-old dude from Mississippi, writing about his experience growing up, being molested as a child, and how that affected him then and shaped him into who he is today. It's a great
Mm-hmm.
read. I tap in with that. And the second author is Tanisha Sadler. At the time, she was 15 years old, still in high school. She's
Oh
17
wow.
years old now.
Okay.
She wrote romance, you know what I'm saying, typical high school girl romance, like the same star football player. He, you know what I'm saying, messing with
Mm-hmm.
both. They don't know about it, but it's a great read, and hers went crazy on the charts. She was #1 for like 9 straight days in her genre. So, big shout out to those 2.
That's what's up, man. I like that a lot. So let's talk about like what was in your book and going through all that. What was the most difficult part of it, or did you
Yeah,
have any discouraged, or did you have like moments where you discouraged, like I can't do this, like well I'm in over my head right now. Did you have
I
any
was
moments?
the biggest challenges when it comes to the writing and publishing process is the writing
Mm-hmm.
phase, actually getting the story written. Like
Okay.
that's gonna be the hardest, one of the hardest pieces, because a lot of times you can get discouraged or just lose motivation. And it just depends on how long the story is. You like, man, it's just, hey, I ain't done yet. You know what I'm saying? But I
Mm-hmm.
say that's the hardest part. But what I tell anybody I work with, I try to tell them, don't think about this as a school assignment and I'm your professor and this is due at midnight. This is not that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just out on paper first, especially you telling a story, like a true story, man, just get it out on paper. Now, if it's fictional, and that's going to take a little bit more work to develop the story because you're developing everything. But if it's a true story, man, just tell us what happened from start to finish and write it like you sending a long text message to one of your partners. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Do the abbreviations, add emojis. Don't worry about no punctuation. Get it down.
Mm-hmm.
You can always go back after the fact and polish it off. That way, it just speeds the process of it, just getting it done, getting it down on paper. Because once it's down on paper, then it's full creativity at this point. Now we're just editing it and fine tuning it. I want to name this chapter this. I'm gonna cut this off right here, and it's gonna lead into this. You know what I'm saying? It's just to get full creative at that point, as far as how you want the story to be conveyed. And then coming up the cover, book description, like all that's part of it. All that is fun. That's the fun part. Then the second hardest about the process is marketing on the back end. Because like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you done did everything, you done published it, you wrote it, published it, all right, boom. Now you don't tell nobody about it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You got to put it out there. You got to put it out there. And it's a lot of different ways to market the book. Of course, word of mouth is the best form and the most natural
Mm-hmm.
form of marketing, you know. But social media is the time we're in now. So utilizing social media to market your books as well, running ads, reaching out to influencers or book clubs, you know what I'm saying, to
Mm-hmm.
read the book and put the book in front of a larger market aside from the market that you have. So yeah, writing and marketing are 2 hardest phases. This is the most workloads, I say.
Yeah, it's definitely important to market. I know I was listening to somebody talk. You got to market like nobody really knows your name. Nobody knows you who you are. You
Facts.
got to market like that's very important to do that.
Facts.
It's good to have that word of mouth. To me, I like to support, man. Around the neighborhood and stuff like that. I go to little because like I said, I'm from up north, and like some of these mom and pop shops, I'm not used to those. So when I came down
Mm-hmm.
here, where they know you can have a cool conversation with them, it's like, man, like, hey, you got to go to that shop around the corner. It's cool. There's good people there. So usually
Yeah.
people hook me up, but sometimes I get little cookies and stuff because this is like one little sweet spot, because I'm always like, hey, you got to go down there and try some of that. So it's like, hey. They put mention my name, so it was like, hey, we appreciate you for helping
Yeah.
us out because a lot of our business, not a lot. I'm not saying a lot of their business or I'm keeping them in business, but you know, there's people, a couple of people a week that come in there and be like, they said that you had them come in, so it's like I
Yeah.
appreciate that,
That word of mouth
and
is
I,
crazy.
you know what I'm saying. So you talk about social media, like, are you doing any content? How do you do content creating for a book? Like,
So it's a lot of different things you can do. Well, we in the age of AI now, so that's
mm-hmm,
definitely a great tool you can use, man. You can use AI to, you know what I'm saying, just put background of what your book is about in AI and ask it to create promo videos for you, or you know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying, slides for you, like for you to post and stuff like that. Reading excerpts of your book as content
okay,
as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, reaching out to influencers. A
mm-hmm,
lot of folks we know that a lot of these influencers we follow, and all we doing is just sitting there just consuming what they got. Man,
mm-hmm,
hit DM them folks. Now don't hit the A-list influencers now, the ones with millions. You know what I'm saying? Don't shoot for a little bit lower. You know what I'm saying? Probably
mm-hmm,
100K or less than 100K, but they have a following. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Ask how much you charge just for you can take a picture with the book or do a quick little 10-second video promoting the book or just telling people to go check it out. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gotta be nothing crazy. Or if you want to create a whole commercial for it, you know what I'm saying? What are your prices? What all can you do with the product service that I have? That's another great tool. And then like I said, reaching out to people that have a following with books. So it's a lot of people that actually review books and have grown a following. So reach out. Same thing with just influencers. Reach out to them. How much you
Mm-hmm.
charge to review my book? You know what I'm saying? Post it on your page. Ooh, I bet. You know what I'm saying? Working like that too.
That's what's up. I like that. And you know, it's a sacrifice sometimes. You gotta sacrifice your money to get
Yeah.
somewhere. So like you gotta hit
Yeah.
people up and be like, and this time money talks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like if I gotta give up a little bit of money to make more money, I'm down with that. So I, I, I like that. I like that you're saying that. Like don't try to get something for free. Like,
Yeah.
money is money, my time and money, I don't even know the word I'm trying to say, but it's important to give and to sacrifice something. If it's
Actually.
good enough, if you feel like what you bringing out is important,
Yeah.
why not?
I'm
Why not?
telling you. All in. All money. Hustle with it. All money in.
Let's do that. So are you a spiritual guy?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I say I'm spiritual. I wouldn't say I practice any religion in particular,
Mm,
but I definitely say spiritual. So definitely believe in God and higher powers and stuff like that.
I like that a lot, man. And just the fact of making an impact in the world, like I think that's a very spiritual thing, man.
Yeah,
Just um, being a spiritual and making an impact, I think that's great, man. So you're not a religious guy, but you believe in God.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Man, that's
Yeah, I
what's
don't
up,
have
man.
that I practice in particular. Like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, grew up Christian, you know what I'm saying, in a church background. That's my mom's side of the family for
Yeah,
sure. Pops, he wasn't really that religious. He from South Central LA, so they're a little bit more liberal over there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So he was the conscious one. Dukes was the church goer. So I just got a balance between the two. But even then, it's like I practiced Ramadan this past. But I've been practicing Ramadan since I got back from China. It's something
okay,
buddies was. He started to study Islam, and he was like, "Hey man, just try to fast." I was just trying to fast, just to do the fast, and
mm-hmm.
learning more about the fast. And it's been a process, boy. It's tough. You talking about 30 days? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Can't drink anything while the sun is up. It's pretty much just bringing the body back to its purest form. Your body's just healing itself, and it's done wonders. Especially just I lost like what 12, 13 pounds from
Okay,
doing the fast. Just felt better overall. Realized I don't have to eat goddamn 3 times a day. Like you know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? Most people like you really can go a long time without food. We really just be overeating and stuff. So, and
Yeah,
it's just like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You just never know what you will be able to accomplish or put yourself through or test your resilience, test your mindset, your mental toughness. You know what I'm saying? By just doing different challenges or practicing different things that's, you know what I'm saying, taboo to you or just different.
yeah. I mean that's very interesting. I never even thought about doing that. I do a little the little fasting from like 8 to
Yeah.
12. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Way
and I got
fast.
yeah. So I started doing that, and I do 16, 17 hours. I'm trying to get back to that because I got to a point where I was like, I'm eating all the time. Going back seconds and thirds. I'm in a wheelchair, so I definitely got to be careful. I
Yeah.
eat, and I think I got sick of every one of the things that played a part in that is that I was overeating just because the
Hmm.
food was there. The food is there, so you see it, you like, you know what I'm saying, and it messed me up. I'm laying in bed, and I'm like, I'm having a hard time breathing. I'm like, nah, I gotta do something. So it's like, if I eat something later on, if I'm still hungry, I may get another bite, but I'm not trying to just eat to eat anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it ain't that good. So I like that. I think that's cool. And then somebody like what we just had. Yeah, Ramadan, right? So people fasting and what is it called? Ash. Is that this? It's not a correlation with the Ash with Easter and stuff like that. The 40-day fast and stuff.
I don't think so. I don't think I'm not
Cause
even
like,
familiar with any
yeah.
religion.
So I know people give up a lot of things, and I want to do some more research on that though, because I think those things are kind of cool. And
Yeah.
yeah, you even talk about the fast and losing weight, it helps you and you can create that discipline. So I'm with that a lot.
Let's get back to that. This
Yeah, for sure. Like we need discipline, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I think with food, if I can get that down, I'll be straight. So,
on me.
uh, so what do you like to do, man? Like outside of what are some of your hobbies outside of books and all that?
Yeah. Man, anything pertaining to football, I'm all for it.
So you're a
Watching.
Falcons fan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Come on now. Rise up. Praise in the draft too. Stop playing with us. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
I'm a
best draft class we've had in years.
yeah, I'm a Ravens fan. Like I said, I grew up in Maryland, so uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I was watching it and I was like, yeah, this is a good one. So, uh, but I just love. I got a buddy. He's a Falcons fan. And I try to keep up with him just because of that. But
Yeah.
I smoke cigars, so I'm at the lounge. So on Sundays, I'm there
Word.
with the screens. Except if the Ravens are playing, they got the whole screen. But if I'm just watching football, you know what I'm saying, I go that little forward. But that's one of my favorite things. Why I love watching football, man, and the
Yeah. And
strategy.
football, I'm all for it. I even play flag football. And I mainly just do that. Just it's cardio. So it's like
Mm,
I enjoy doing it. So it's like yeah, I don't even think about it when I'm out there running around, working out, hanging out with friends, parlaying for real, traveling. That's one of the things I like. I enjoy much, very very much. I hit 5 countries last year. Last year was a lit
oh
year
man,
for me. Guys.
man,
5 countries, and I can't even tell you how many cities domestically I went to. But yeah,
that's
traveling is up there for me. As far as it's probably like my favorite thing to do.
that's one thing I would like to do to travel and things like that. I think that'd be cool. And I follow this dude in the wheelchair. He travels abroad all the time, so
Mhm.
um, I I would like to do something like that, but um, just to see like some of the accessible, how the world is accessible and
Yeah,
what's not.
facts.
Um, so I think that's cool, and I follow him to see things like that. But sometimes if I get up there where I got 100,000 followers, I ain't I'm trying to get 1,000 on this podcast one. But if I'm up there, like I just want to give them and show them that you can still live full and travel. But one before I get on a tangent because I like to get on tangents. So how do you so how do you travel now? Like, are you mindful of certain things now that you travel?
Yeah. So like after China, I was put on a 5-year ban. At least to go, I couldn't go back to China for 5 years. They put me on a
Okay,
5-year ban. But for some reason, I suppressed myself and just didn't do no traveling the whole 5 years. So I ain't go
yeah,
no aside from just domestic. But last year, my ban was up, I renewed my passport was up for renewal, renewed that, and it's just like man, it was just crazy, just the ripple effect of just all the just trips that just happened. A lot of the trips I took were just birthday trips. You know what I'm saying? First one was Colombia in March for my partner's birthday, then Bahamas for another somebody else's birthday, Dominican Republic for somebody else's birthday. So I just was
mm,
getting invites to travel with folks. So that was mainly it. But of course, I usually at least this time, well, I've been to Bahamas multiple times, but DR and Colombia, I'm like, first day, I'm like, I'm just gonna sit back and just watch, see how everything operate. I'm gonna let y'all do what y'all do. Then once I see how this thing work, okay, bet. Now I can work my one. But mainly just I know the do's and don'ts for them. At this point, I know the do's and don'ts when it comes to certain countries you at. What's feasible, what's not. Just make sure that I'm on my best behavior, the best that I can be. For
That
sure.
works out. Yeah, that works out. I like that a lot. Be on your best behavior and all that good stuff. Man, I did, like I said, I do want to travel. I think one of the places I want to travel is London. I don't know why, man. That British, like,
Yeah.
bro, I love British movies and things like that. Like that's one of the places I really want to travel to. Have you been? You haven't been there, right?
That was country number four.
Okay.
That last country number
How
four.
did you like it?
London was lit.
Mm,
I've been to London before in elementary school, but this was my first time actually going as an adult and an experienced traveler. So it was a vibe. I enjoyed it a lot. I also went to Czech Republic while I was out there as well. That was a birthday gift. The whole trip
mm,
was birthday, but the trip to Prague, Czech Republic, was addition to the ticket I purchased for London. But yeah, London was dope though. I enjoyed myself. I know a few people out there, so it was cool to link up with them finally. And one of
mm-hmm.
the people, my brother's father, I ain't seen him since I was in like first grade. So this is my first time seeing this man in over 20 years. So it was just a surreal full circle moment. And it's like, man, we hit it off like we ain't never left each other. So it was very, very cool and harmonious. Um, yeah, yeah. London was a vibe. Europe is a vibe in general. Like I'm like I gotta hit some more countries out there. Like
Yeah.
I rock with Europe. It was cool. Heard Germany's lit. Um, I'm thinking about Amsterdam this year. Like it's up
Okay.
there on my countries for because I like to travel for my birthday. So I'm like
Mm-hmm.
Amsterdam is up. It's only three countries I got on the list so far, but Amsterdam is one of them. Because I looked at the tickets and the tickets are pretty cheap. So I'm like, okay, you can fly into Amsterdam for like 500 something. I'm like,
Okay.
shit. That's feasible, bro. Especially we do a group, we all going on B&B. Oh man, that's gonna man, what? Yeah, and there's a lot to do in Amsterdam as far as
Yeah.
what's legal out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gonna have fun for sure.
It seemed like I want I would like to go some places, man. I see, like I said, I'm a cigar smoker, man. So like you get me in
Yeah,
a spot, man, I can see some things and have a cigar in my mouth, man. I'm good. I'm in heaven at that.
started
You
getting
ever? Hmm?
slowly, somewhat. First time at a cigar lounge was when we was in Colombia. That's my first time smoking a cigar, and I was smoking as a Cuban at that. So that
Okay.
was a little too. That, man, them cigar lounge, man, that's some grown man stuff right there, boy.
Hey, I'm telling you, bro. If you ever, I'm outside Chattanooga, Tennessee, bro. If you ever in
Okay,
this way, bro, hit my line, bro. We go smoke a cigar, bro. Like we could
for
really
sure.
chop it up, man,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
things like that.
I got a bunch of family in Tennessee. I was just up there a couple weeks ago. I went from Gatlinburg to Nashville to Covington to Memphis, from east to
Okay.
west.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm right outside. I'm like 20 minutes out. I live in a little town called Cleveland, Tennessee, so it's like right
Okay,
outside Chattanooga. So
okay, for sure. Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
we got this lounge here. Matter of fact, I was just there smoking before I got on here with you. It works out for me because like in person sometimes, like if you was like closer, I'm like, yo, meet me. Like you want to smoke a cigar? Like we'll have a cigar and do a record. Like I
Oh,
love getting a chance to
yeah,
record in person and smoke a cigar with
yeah,
somebody. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, yeah.
that's,
But my
that's my that's my thing. Yeah, and the lounge is black owned too. So like,
yeah,
um,
that's yeah,
I enjoy that. I support black owned businesses anyway. So, but it's my thing, man. So I like
for
that.
sure.
So if you ever in this way, man, hit my line, bro. Like we
Oh
gonna
yeah,
do something.
oh, for sure.
But I ain't gonna hold you up that long, man. I know that you're an educator. And I want you to talk a little bit about being an educator and things like
Yeah,
that, giving back to the
yeah.
community, man. How's it being an educator? What made you want to be an educator?
So once football came, it's funny how I felt. Everything I'm doing right now, you couldn't
Mm,
tell me I was gonna be doing. I
mm,
played football majority of my life. That was my identity. I embodied the student athlete to the fullest. Once football came to an end, I knew it was coming eventually. I knew I was going to have to cross that bridge. But once I had to
mm,
finally cross the bridge, it was like, damn, I got to refigure out this life thing all over again. Like, I got to
mm,
re-identify and learn myself all over. So I immediately started applying for corporate positions.
Okay.
I'm landing interviews, but I'm not able to land any role. So like I'm
Mm.
process of applying for jobs, landing interviews, going to interviews. Some of the interviews I'm getting flown out for, put up in hotels, the whole nine.
Mm.
Listen, I did this for about 8 months. I done graduated. I came back home. I'm like, bro, what is going on? I've done everything quote unquote quote the right way, and I'm like, I'm still getting the short end of the stick. Like, it's something not right. I'm like, maybe corporate might not be for you, bro.
Yeah.
Let's a different field because we tried and we ain't had no success. So as soon as I made that transition, I'm just looking outside of corporate. That's when I seen the opportunity to teach English to kids in China.
Mm.
Ever thought of being no educator? Like I said, I was a former student athlete. I
Yeah.
definitely imagine myself being on the other side of the classroom, instructing
Mm-hmm.
and leading class. So, but I was like, man, live in China, teaching English to kids. I'm like, that sounds pretty lit. The job descriptions, I feel like I can do it. This is how I've been applying for jobs up to this point anyway. If I feel
Yeah.
like I can do it, I'll apply. And the requirements were minimal. So I'm like, yeah, it's a shot in the dark. Sounds
Mm-hmm.
pretty. I I doubt I'll get it, but I'll just apply just for, what I'm saying, shits and giggles. And lo and behold, them folks like, yeah, we want to move forward with you as a candidate. I said, oh, okay. But yeah, that's how I fell into education. Once I got back from China, I knew I was like, well, it's April, so we only got a month left of school, so
Mm-hmm.
I probably ain't gonna find nothing in the school system until the following school year. But I'm like, with me having this on my resume, that's gonna open up some doors. That's gonna open up some opportunities. And, okay, you got experience working in education, and not just anywhere. You was in China doing it. Like that looks good. So
Yeah.
I already knew. I'm like, I can keep my foot on this gas for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime of that, that's when I started writing 14 days and fell into coaching that summer as well. All of this transition happened in 2019.
Okay.
Um, and I still coach football at the same school. I'm at Wheeler High School in Marietta. So, like I say, you your folks pretty close. Yeah, it's been a journey though. It's been a vibe. I enjoy it. Working with kids is always it has kids gonna be kids, but
Yeah.
um, being able to have an impact, and you'd be surprised how much of an impact you have on these kids. You deal with these kids every single day, at least
Mm-hmm.
majority of the, what I'm saying, at the time. So like you definitely have an influence on them, and you leave an impact. So it's always a vibe with that, and I always make sure to try to leave the most positive impact I can, and deliver as much wisdom as I can into these kids.
For sure.
Schools I'm work at, it's all Title I schools and stuff. So it's single parent households and you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
low income households and stuff like that. So you know what I'm saying, these ain't no regular kids. A lot of these kids been through some real life stuff. So yeah, it's just cool to be, I guess, another source, another ear for them to express
Mm-hmm.
themselves to, or if they receive anything that they want. You know what I'm saying? Kids are number sponges. They're gonna suck up everything around them. So
For sure.
just got to be mindful of what you're saying and how you're acting because they mimic and they pay attention.
For sure. Yeah. I like that a lot, man. I appreciate you for being on the show, man, and chopping it up with me and things like that. And I'm be looking. I'm gonna follow you on some social medias and stuff like that. So when you get some more stuff coming out, I'm like, hey, come back on here. Let's chop it up about
Oh,
some of this stuff, man. I'm a big, like I said, I like the support, man. You seem like a real cool dude. So
likewise,
I like
likewise.
I like that a lot. Like, I just like that. I'm a big supporter when I can support. If I got the money, I'm gonna try to support in other ways.
Yeah,
There's always ways that you can support your neighbor. So
facts.
it ain't always got to be about money, but you know, it's life. So, but like I am for real, man. Like we get on there, like, hey, bro, I'm out Tennessee, man. What you doing? Like we
Yeah.
gonna like let's do something, yo, because I love to have a chop up, man. I know you'll lock it up at my little cigar lounge.
Oh yeah,
Is
definitely.
yeah,
I
for
feel like
sure, man.
taking home, so I'll be up there for sure. So I definitely ride through
So
chat.
yeah. Um. So my last question is this, man. Like, what is a piece of advice you can just share that
Mm.
you've learned or somebody told you that you can give to the people?
Actually, I'm gonna leave y'all with a quote, and the quote is from Nipsey Hussle,
Hope
and it
that I
goes,
know it's gonna be a good one.
yeah, goes long-winded, running through this life like it was mine,
Mm,
never settling, but setting every goal high. 1,000 burpees on the path to my own self-destruction or success. But what is mistake without the lesson? You see, the best teacher in life is your own experience, and none of us know who we are until we fail. They say every person is defined by their reaction to any given situation. Well, who would you want to define you? Someone else or yourself? Whatever you choose to do, homie, put your heart to it. Stay strong.
for sure. I like that a lot, man. I like that a lot.